Mr. Donalds is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Look, I think it's important in this hearing to clarify a couple of things. Was the workplace environment at the Washington Redskins / Commanders abhorrent? The commissioner has testified yes. In the previous roundtable, everybody agreed to that. Has the organization been held accountable through financial fines, the distancing of Mr. Snyder from the team for an extended period of time, and with transformation of team culture? The answer to all those is yes, as testified by the commissioner of the National Football League. It has been brought up in this hearing that yes, 4 years ago when Mr. Gowdy was chair of this committee, that we did investigate sexual harassment associated with USA Gymnastics. But it's important to understand the context of those hearings. The disgusting actions of Dr. Nasser were actually coming to light at the same time as Congress was holding those hearings, at the same time as we were going, as that was moving through the criminal procedures. So let's understand what we're talking about here. The workplace environments of the Washington Redskins at that period of time was abhorrent. Everybody in this hearing agrees with that. But have they been held accountable? According to the commissioner, yes, they have been held accountable, which goes back to the point that Republicans on this committee are actually saying, if you want to bring legislation about this, that's fine, that's one thing. But if you want to sit a chair in the middle of this hearing room with Mr. Snyder's name on it, knowing full well that Mr. Snyder told the committee he was not going to be able to attend, well, that takes on the elements of a show hearing. And if Congress is going to go through the pathway of conducting show hearings where members of Congress want to take their pound of flesh from American citizens, regardless of their stature, what you're going to get is American citizens actually having less respect for the committees of Congress. We have so many issues facing us in the United States right now. Gas prices are through the roof. I was just at the border for the 4th time last week. I've had 4 trips to the border. The President of the United States has never been. Meanwhile, fentanyl is coming into every community in the United States. It is killing people in our country between the ages of 18 and 45. It is the #1 cause of death. This committee has said nothing about fentanyl to this point. Not one word. We've not done it here. So I think if you're going to examine why Republican members are frustrated with this hearing, it is not about the conduct of the Washington Redskins. It's not about that conduct, because we find that conduct to be distasteful. But you have to also look at the facts that the National Football League, which is the entity responsible for the Washington Redskins, they've gone through that investigation. They've actually held the team accountable. So what are we doing now? Are we actually going to ignore the real-life economic issues that are harming every American in the United States, whether you happen to be male or female, whether you happen to be rich or poor, whether you happen to be black or white? Or are we going to continue to do these show hearings? Yes, while America struggles in the reality of Joe Biden's disastrous economic policies today in the United States. That is the ire, that is that is why members of Congress on the Republican side of the aisle are so confounded as to why we've hauled in the commissioner from the NFL. Look, I'm gonna be fully transparent with y'all. I ain't really got no love for the NFL, okay? You know, like, I don't really have much love for the NFL. I love football. I've had my issues with certain rulings that have come from the NFL. There's things that, Commissioner Goodell, I don't agree with your decisions on certain things that you've done in your tenure, but I'm not gonna use my time as a member of Congress to grill you on that. That is your business as running the NFL. If the owners have a problem with you, let the owners deal with it. Me personally, I'm a Cowboys fan. So, you know, if the product on the field of the Washington Commanders is not good, that's great for me personally. But I'm not going to use my time as a member of Congress to grill that organization when they've already been held accountable by the governing body who was responsible for them, which is the NFL, which the commissioner of the NFL has already testified to today. So, Madam Chair, if you want to understand why members on this side of the aisle are frustrated, it's not about holding sexual harassment in the workplace accountable. It is not that. It is about us conducting show trials which distract us from the business Congress should be looking at. And with that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.